Tune in to the Real Estate Roundup with the River Counties Association of Realtors. Join us every last Thursday of the month at 12 p.m. on Fiesta 99.1 and every last Friday of the month at 12 p.m. on The Buzz 101.3 as we explore the latest in local real estate. Whether you're buying, selling, or just love real estate, don't miss our expert advice and exclusive insights. So grab a cup of coffee, sit back, and let's explore the dynamic world of real estate in our vibrant River Counties community. Catch Real Estate Roundup and make your property dreams a reality. Good afternoon. Welcome to the River Counties Radio Real Estate Roundup. And we are joined today with Jaime Alderman from Award Realty. Let me give you a little background on Jaime. Jaime is a distinguished real estate professional. She's right here in Cleveland, Tennessee for you. She's got a strong background in the local real estate market. Jaime brings a wealth of knowledge and experience to clients looking to buy or sell property in the area. Her expertise is navigating market trends, and her commitment to personalized service has made her a trusted advisor in the community. Today, we're going to learn more about her insights into the real estate industry, her approach to client service, and what makes Cleveland area a unique place to live. So welcome, Jaime.
Thank you, Michael.
So glad to have you here, and our audience is eager to hear more about you and your background. So let's start it off. Just tell them a little bit about your background, how long you've been in it, what got you into this crazy world of real estate.
Well, I'm originally from Maryland, and I came here to go to Lee. Okay. So that was back in 1995. And while I was at Lee, I got a job at Prudential Botts & Associates, which was just downtown walking distance. So I would go to class, I'd walk down there to go to work. I was the secretary, and it was a blast. So I worked there for probably a year and a half, and I got to meet all kind of real estate agents. And just, they always just were having a good time. Like, I mean, they were always having a good time. It was just fun. It was just a fun, lighthearted place to work. And there were stresses, but by and large, they just seemed happy and successful and just pleased with how life was going. So it gave me a curiosity about it. I hadn't really thought about real estate prior to that. I went ahead and finished my degree and started teaching. I taught at Taylor Elementary, and over the summer, I thought, well, I'd probably like to get a job, like something part-time. And so I started thinking about real estate. And I also got married during that time. And Award Realty was run by Janelle Harden, and she used to babysit my husband
Okay.
in Indiana. So it was kind of,
Meant to be.
Meant to be. So I went and I interviewed there, and I was only 22, but she was just like, you know what? Yes. She hired me and just kind of took me in. So I've been with Award, why I stay with Award, really. Marcia and Dennis now are in charge over there, and just their work ethic and their generosity and just our values really align.
Sure.
Plus, not everybody can say that their broker loves them.
Right.
And I can. So I really am blessed. It's very much like being, family oriented, and
right.
It's a good place to work.
Yeah, and we know Marcia, right? And been involved with the board as many times too. And so you mentioned teaching. So are you still actively teaching?
I do. I homeschool my kids.
Okay.
So I'm active in the homeschool community, and I also have been teaching for the past 4 years with a place called Access Academy, where I don't volunteer because I do get paid, but I go in and I teach job skills to special needs in the high schools.
Oh, nice.
So I go into Bradley, Cleveland Walker Goal Academy, and I teach basic life skills, like this: how you sign your name. This is signature. You need to have a signature. We talk about resumes and job applications and just kind of life enhancing,
getting them prepared.
Getting them prepared to get a job. Very rewarding, very fun. I don't know that I'll be doing that next year. I am trying to focus more on going full-time with real estate. So I'm moving kind of away from that. But I've really enjoyed doing it. I always have. I just like teaching in general. So
Sure. And so your background, were you born and raised here in Cleveland or the area? Or?
I'm from Salisbury, Maryland.
Okay.
Ocean City.
What made you come here?
Lee.
Lee. Okay.
I really.
That's a good reason.
I had applied at several schools, but ended up just coming down here to Lee. It's a lot prettier here,
right,
than it is where I grew up. I mean, the beach is pretty, but it's very flat. And I just like the mountains. I like hiking, and I was a raft guide at a Inn while in high school, and I just like being outside here.
I can understand it. Yep. I get it because, the mountains are definitely beautiful and the different seasons, unlike no others. So let's talk a little bit about your market expertise. Let's talk to our audience here about, you're working with a seller. Well, let's even just talk about the current market because that's probably first and foremost on everybody's mindset right now. We know interest rates are fluctuating. They go up, they go down, and the days of the 2 and 3% interest rate are probably long gone for a while. We know it's making some people hesitate on buying or selling a house because rates are in the 6s, which traditionally is a very good rate. It's just we've been spoiled with these lower rates. So talk about the market in Cleveland right now. Are there any trends you're seeing, anything that buyers and sellers should be aware of? Let's just talk about what you experience, what's going on in your opinion.
Well, the interest rates are challenging. We did get spoiled, and a lot of us refinanced.
Right.
And we've got that low interest rate, and it is hard to lose that. But I don't know. The inventory seems to be coming up, which is good. It's been low for a really long time, or not even low so much as it just gets snapped off the market before you can really do a lot of movement. We've had a large influx of people from California and Florida that have moved to the area. I've seen that in my and doing taxes as well. Lots of tax returns from out of state this year as opposed to previous years.
Sure.
And I think that affects our market real estate because here our prices, they still feel high to us, but they are not high to them. And so for them, they can kind of come in and be like, this is great. This is a good deal. One of the trends I've been seeing, which I think, I don't know, it's interesting to me. I think it might keep going, is multi-generational housing.
Okay.
A lot of my personal friends and some other clients they're kind of merging families. So whether it be parents moving in and they're all going in together and buying a larger house. So there's a mother-in-law suite, or even kids not really getting their own place, but they're kind of coming back and moving in with their parents.
Sure.
So that's been interesting. I've approached my children about it, but so far they've told me no way. There's always hope, right?
Right. Yep. Yeah. Or you might want them out of the house.
Maybe, yeah, I don't know. Remains to be seen.
And we know student debt obviously impacts a lot of our students coming out of college, and it's one thing that it's been talked about many, many times and trying to reduce that debt to allow them to be a home owner, So, yeah.
It's challenging right now. You have to have a good paying job right out of college, and that's a hard thing.
Pay that debt off. Yeah, it's tough. And so let's talk a little bit then about a client approach. So I'm a seller. I want to sell my house. I'm going to call you. What's your process with that? What are you going to guide me through, and what are you going to do from A to Z? So let's get everybody familiar with what you will help clients with.
Well, a lot of times my business personally is mostly referral based. So I do a lot of business with my family and actual friends, and then people that they refer. Okay. So it's kind of friends of friends. I do business with strangers too, but not nearly on the same level. So a lot of times I have a pre-existing relationship or else a referral-based relationship. With sellers, primarily it's marketing, sometimes advice on, what things might need to be taken down, packed away, if you need to touch up paint, this kind of thing, or if this needs to be repaired, or if it's okay to kind of leave it. In the market where we've had it, sometimes those repairs haven't had to be made because the inventory was so low. You can negotiate it out after the fact in the contract.
Sure.
As markets shift, that changes. So we do a lot of consultation on what you should do prior to listing, what to expect while you're listing, and people are coming to see your house.
Sure.
It's
a whole different lifestyle at that point.
I'm just kind of a therapist as far as that kind of stuff goes, and just kind of reassuring people, keeping in touch with them. That is one thing I really am good at, is keeping in touch. When I first started, it was really difficult because sometimes you don't have any answers because you haven't heard back from people. And so you have that I don't want to answer my phone. I haven't had anything to tell them. But I got over that relatively quickly. And so even if you don't have an answer yet, it's still always better to answer your phone and just be like, listen, I'm still waiting too. This is what's happening. so that everybody kind of can commiserate that anxiety together.
Sure. Yeah, definitely. Sellers get anxious in that. Then, so you'll help them stage their house is what you'll do and get it market ready, because obviously the way we live in our house is different than the way we sell it.
Yes.
Something definitely to keep in mind. And what about on a buyer side? So I've never bought a house before, first time coming out of a rental. What's your advice to me? How are you going to get me started on this journey?
I love it. It's so much fun. Buying is fun. You're shopping, you're window shopping.
Sure.
So you do a lot of looking at what kind of house, a lot of consultation on what you actually want. Do you need a fence? Do you want a pool? Do you want to be in a neighborhood? Do you want to be in the country? Like, you kind of have to get a feel for what people are actually wanting versus needing. I like to shoot for the stars and then kind of like come down from there. This is more realistic. This is what, and also almost 100% of the time, myself included, you go out there and you start looking and you realize that maybe the things that you were thinking about on your list aren't the actual things that you
expectations.
Have. It's fun. I mean, it's like going on a little shopping spree.
Right.
And I get to see lots of houses, which is fun.
You're going to explain then all the documents I have to sign and everything and help me through that as a new buyer?
I do that. I'm really good at paperwork, which is probably the best part of real estate for me. At least that's what my husband says. I'm just a nerd. But I'm really good at the paperwork side. So I'll explain it to you, go through the contract, tell you what you're signing, why you're signing it. But I handle most of that stuff. Okay. So you don't have to handle that. You can hopefully just enjoy the experience of like picking out your dream house. And I really do try to do that. I don't, the house that you buy, you want to be happy there. It doesn't do me any good if you're not happy in the house that you pick. I want you to be happy and then use me again in a few years when you got to get a bigger one or if you have to get a smaller one. And resale value is super important to me. I wouldn't want to put anybody in anything that would put them in a bind financially. And I'm really cognizant of that. If I don't think it's a viable deal, I'm not going to encourage you to do it. I'm going to encourage you to do some more research.
Good.
Because you need to be able to have flexibility within that. And you need to use the equity in your home. You need to have that be a real thing because it's valuable.
Yeah, definitely. And, a lot of first-time home buyers, they just don't know where to start. And it sounds like that's a great platform for them to start with. So would you also guide them to get connected with a lender? And, because obviously there's a lot of shady business sometimes, and you want to make sure you get to a reputable lender that's going to do the right job. So I take it you have all of those preferred partners in your arsenal?
I've met a lot of people over the years. I do. I have a whole list of people that I prefer to work with. Right. And I don't just steer to one person. I'll give you a whole list of people, and I can kind of tell you, they're really good at this. You might be a good match for these guys. Ultimately, it's the buyer's decision who they use. So it's good to just kind of provide an array of people that have strengths and weaknesses in various different things. Our lenders here are awesome. Yeah. I mean, they really are. I don't know that I've ever worked with one that I wouldn't recommend.
Yeah, I've met quite a few since I've been here, and I'm a transplant myself, so I know what you're talking about. And for those of you just joining in, today we're joined by Jaime Alderman from Award Realty. You can reach Jaime at her email is Alderman, ALDERMAN Realty @gmail.com. Or reach her on her mobile number at 423-715-2002. Again, it's 423-715-2002. Jaime, let's talk about some lighthearted stuff now. Funny stories, success stories that you'd like to share with the audience. Keep it clean, but you got any funny stories you want to share with them? And because, like you mentioned too, let's go have fun finding a house. It doesn't always have to be so rigid and serious, and it is a great step in somebody's life. So I'm sure you've encountered some stories over your years of doing this.
I have lots of funny stories. I will tell a radio-friendly story. One particular client, we'd been looking for a long time. They were nervous about making this transition into buying. They'd been renting. And so we start looking at homes, and we look at some, and we've got some different little funny things that happen. We end up getting to this one house, and if anybody else ever showed this, they're going to know exactly what house it was. But we walk in, everything looks pretty cool, and they've got these large cages out kind of the back, and we're like, what on earth is in these cages? It ended up being falcons.
Oh.
It's like, it's a falcon race. I don't know. And I was like, oh my gosh, right? And there's gorgeous falcons in these cages. We didn't go up close because, we don't want to scare the birds. So then we go in the house and we're looking at some nice house, big. And so we kind of split up, and some of us are going over here. Some other people are going over here. And so we end up in this one room and there's shelves of snakes, like shelves of snakes. And we're just like, oh my goodness. Like, it's just a bedroom, but it's full of snakes. And like huge bins, like, I don't know, that had to have been a gigantic snake in the bin. And so we're in there looking at that like, oh my goodness, this is crazy. And we hear screaming from the other side of the house. And so we're like, what is going on? So we run out there, and apparently they had tarantulas upstairs.
Oh boy.
So that was exciting. So a whole bathroom full of spiders upstairs. Anyway, interesting, hilarious. We've told the story for years now. We ended up finding them another house without so many animals.
No moving creatures.
and gorgeous. But it was fun. And it's like, you have funny experiences like that when you're out looking at houses because people do have snakes and spiders as pets. I don't have those, but people do. And so it's fun, But real estate is always, you just never, ever have any idea what you're going to walk into.
Sure. Oh, yeah. And what you see online is not always what you see in person, right?
No, almost 100%.
Yeah. A lot of people judge it online and think, oh, that's a great house. You get there, it's opposite, and vice versa. So
gotta see it in person.
Yeah, you do. That sounds a little alarming.
It was a fun day.
All right. And the names were all protected of the innocent. No names were mentioned. So
No names were mentioned in the story.
Let's talk a little bit about community involvement. Obviously, this community itself definitely prides itself on helping others, which I think is great. So anything that you're involved with that you want to mention to everybody, obviously make those connections with people too, as far as...
Sure. I actually, that's a hobby.
Sure. That's great. Yeah. Let's hear about your hobbies and community involvement. And
so... because I like to live my best life now.
Why not?
I live like I'm retired. I'm in several different organizations. I am a master gardener, so I'm in the Master Gardeners Club.
Okay.
And aside from plants, and gardening, but you also like volunteer work. So we'll go up to the Coe Whitewater Center and do the landscaping up there. At the Hiawassee Cultural Center, they do the landscaping there. All the little boxes downtown, I don't know if you guys know that's volunteers that do those.
Okay.
That's Master Gardeners. They teach classes at the Pie Center on different types of gardening and canning, and there's just a lot of really cool things. The most recent thing I've joined is it's volunteering at the Juvenile Justice Center.
Okay.
So we're partnering with some of the younger kids that are in the program, and we're doing gardens there for them and teaching them.
Oh, nice.
And it's so fun and so rewarding, and they're just so sweet, and I love it. So I really like the Master Gardeners. I highly recommend that. If you like gardening, you should check it out.
Okay.
I'm also a beekeeper, so I'm in the Beekeepers Club.
Okay, all right.
Which does kind of go hand in hand. I'm just a little tiny baby beekeeper, though, so don't ask me any questions. I also am a member of Civil Air Patrol, so my kids joined that and then sucked me in because the people there are just amazing.
And what is that?
So
give a little detail on that.
Civil Air Patrol is a volunteer auxiliary Air Force program that meets here in Cleveland. So also really great organization to get involved in, especially if you're interested in flying.
Sure.
But we practice rescue missions, emergency services response. Civil Air Patrol is the organization that takes pictures. So if there's a natural disaster and FEMA's called in, we take the pictures of those natural disasters.
Okay.
They were first over the scene for when 9/11 happened. So it's really neat because it's a small local thing here, but also this is a huge national organization that does a lot of really good work. So I ended up just, like I said, falling in love with all the people that volunteer there. So now I volunteer there too. but it's very rewarding. So
it's good to know. I did not know about that, so it's good to know. And it sounds like you keep yourself busy.
I do keep myself busy.
Well, that's a good thing. That's definitely a good thing. And the future outlook of our industry, where do you think things are heading as far as, the economy, interest rates, or anything you want to touch on, just kind of give people, an outlook to maybe what we can expect. Obviously, we don't have a crystal ball, but
Yeah, we don't have a crystal ball.
right.
The market is always cyclical. I feel like things are kind of stabilizing a little. It seems like we're getting more houses listed, and also they're closing quickly. Not like so fast that you're like, oh, I didn't even get a chance to look at it. But
Sure.
But you can actually walk through the house, think about it, talk to your lenders, make a plan before it's snatched out from under you. So things are kind of levelizing a bit.
Good time to breathe.
A little bit, not a lot.
Okay.
Still,
Okay.
Whenever you like a house, somebody else is gonna like it.
Right.
but a little bit less of that pressure where you feel like I don't have time to make a good decision. I think there's starting to be a little bit more choices out there inventory wise, which is good. It gives people kind of, a little bit more leeway to kind of look and find what they want instead of feeling pressure again, because pressure is just never good and conducive in a situation like this. And home buying is an important emotional thing. It's
Sure.
a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
You need to be able to really kind of make your decision without feeling stressed about it. So overall, honestly, I think the market outlook is good. I think it's positive.
That's good.
I'm encouraged by it. I was stressed a couple years ago. I'm starting to be less stressed about it now.
Well, and I mean, tell me if I'm wrong. I buy a house today, interest rate 6.5%, 6.75%. I don't have to live with that rate forever, right?
Absolutely.
I have options, don't I?
Oh my gosh, I've refinanced my house so many times.
There you go.
I mean, you really can. The buying the house gives you a lot of opportunity to do other things, and
Sure.
your interest rate is going to go up and down. There are some lender programs where it automatically drops as the rate. So, you just have to kind of keep an eye on your finances
Sure.
as things change.
You're not married to that
You're not
that
married
mortgage
to
for
it.
30 years.
Absolutely
Everybody
not.
thinks it is.
Yeah, you're not. You're going to probably sell, honestly.
Sure.
And you definitely can refinance.
Okay. Let's as we wind up here, and again, we're talking with Jaime Alderman from Award Realty here in town. The closing process. Just give a few minute conversation here about I did everything now. We're getting to closing day. What should I expect as a seller, as a buyer? Am I going to be there for 3 hours, 3 days? How long does the closing process take normally? And are you there with me to make sure everything goes okay?
I am there with you.
Okay.
Sometimes it does take 3 hours. Most of the time it does not. Most of the time it's like 30 minutes. You're in and out. It's great. Another reason to really be mindful about your lender and your title company.
Sure.
You want to pick people that are professional, that have experience doing it. They make it painless, as opposed to having some really awkward ones, which I've had as well over the years. The closing process, the waiting is the hardest part, and it just is true in all aspects of life. As a buyer, you've got your financing kind of is all right. They're asking you for more and more documents, and you're having to give those things and stay on top of it. But mostly, you get to a period of, there's a kind of a lull in it where everything's kind of done, and everybody's just kind of waiting to see what is going to happen and go wrong.
Okay.
And something always does.
Sure.
Always. And the important thing I always tell them, just don't freak out. A week before closing, something is going to happen.
Right.
But we're going to handle it.
Right.
It's going to be okay. Because it's very rare that houses don't close.
Sure.
It's very rare.
Yeah.
So there's always a little hiccup, and it always gets handled. And as long as everybody just stays calm, we're all right. And it's a happy thing. On sellers, it's just packing. You got to pack. You got to pack, you got to clean, you got to figure out and navigate where you're going to be and how you're going to get out of the house so that they can get into the house. But it can be a very happy stress time instead of a nervous stress time. And I try to make as much as I can.
Sure. Yeah. And it is a lot to pack up a house. As I mentioned, I just recently did it too. Well, my wife did a lot of packing because I was already here and she was still there, but not fun, but like you said, you can make it exciting because it's a life-changing moment, and you get the new buyers coming in, you're moving out, you're going to your new home or your new job location, whatever it might be.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
I mean, it should be exciting. It should be a happy, exciting thing.
So title companies and all that, you know of good ones around here that you can recommend as well too, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, that's good. That's good to know. And any other last steps of advice, pieces of advice that you want to give our listeners here as far as, should they be looking online first or call you first? What's their best way? Like, I want to buy a house. Should I just go online and look at a bunch of stuff and then call you, or should I have you start doing my search right off the bat?
I think it's a little bit of both.
Okay.
No one knows what you want more than you do.
Sure.
And you could tell me what you want all day long, but I still don't necessarily know exactly what your vision for that is. So I think you work in conjunction with your real estate agent. Especially with technology today, everything is very merged. So yes, we have a lot more ability to talk with the other listing agents and kind of get inside information on the houses and things of that nature. But visually, you can see what you like.
Sure.
And you're going to probably see what you like before I see what you like. I'm going to see things I think you might like, and I'm going to say, ooh, do you want any of this?
Right.
But you're going to be like, I like that house. Can you tell me about it? So I think both things work in conjunction with each other.
Okay.
The people who are buying need to look, and I need to look, and we kind of work together as a team to find their perfect house.
Sure. And as far as your database of listings, I take it you use the MLS system, right? The multiple listing system. And for our listeners to understand that, can you share with them a little bit of what our multiple listing system is, just so they understand the difference between that and looking at stuff online?
Well, when you look at stuff online, it isn't always up to date. Okay. So it might be a house that's already closed. We haven't had that happen this week.
Okay.
Sometimes it's a house that already closed. Sometimes it's a house that hasn't even been on the market. I don't know why those pop up, but sometimes old feeds filter in.
Sure.
So that kind of pops up. So it's not as accurate as the multiple listing service is. Sometimes, you can find, which is why I tell people to look, you can find maybe out-of-town agents that aren't in our MLS. Sometimes
Sure.
their houses pop up there. We can still find that information, but we might not see it when we're doing a straight MLS search.
Okay.
So, I also kind of look outside that MLS as well, just to catch some of the stragglers for sale by owners. Sometimes aren't going to be in our MLS, but they might pop up on a social media site. Again, that's something that the buyers can say, hey, I saw this one. I'm like, I don't see it in the MLS, but I can still contact it for sale by owner and kind of
work it out with them
inwards that way. Because you really don't want to buy a house unrepresented.
Right.
There's just so much legal stuff that can go wrong. Whether you pick me or pick another realtor, ultimately you really should pick somebody to represent you. You don't want to go into it just trying to represent yourself. It's dangerous.
Sure. It's not that simple as it might seem, for sure.
Yeah.
And well, Jaime, I appreciate you being here today, and give our audience your contact information one more time, your email, your phone number, how you want them to reach out to you.
So you can reach me by phone or email. My email is aldermanrealty.com@gmail.com, sorry. And my phone number, I left the Gmail out. My phone number is 423-715-2002. So it's 715-2002. I've had it since 2002. It's an old phone number. But you can call me or text me or email me, and I'd be happy to get in touch with you and help you on your journey to find us.
Thank you, Jaime.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you. Do you imagine a career with flexibility and limitless income potential? It's possible by becoming a Realtor. The River Counties Association of Realtors, located right here in Cleveland, Tennessee, is ready to help you unlock your potential. We're your go-to resource for guiding you to obtain your Tennessee real estate license. We're more than just realtors. We're a vital part of our community. Partnering with local charities, we work tirelessly to make a difference. Join the River Counties Association of Realtors today, where your career can thrive and community can too. Visit rivercounties.com or call 423-476-5912. Your new path awaits.